Social media influencers are always using ring lights. But did you know that you can use these bad boys for cinematic lighting?
And if you have any other types of lights, these tips are going to help you as well.
The first way we're going to be getting our cinematic lighting set up with our ring light is going to be putting it on a light stand, obviously. Once you have it on that light stand, you're going to raise it up high above your head and tilting it down kind of aimed at your face and put it at a 45-degree angle away from your face. The way you'll know you've done this right is by seeing a little highlight triangle, little spot on your cheek. And what this is just called Rembrandt lighting, which is by the painter Rembrandt. He always tended to have this little triangle going on. One thing I noticed when trying to achieve the Rembrandt look using a ring light is that the shadows can tend to be a little bit harsh. While you could go out and buy some diffusion, I decided to take a cheaper approach and use paper towels. So all you gotta do is just take some paper towels and either tape it, or you could clamp it like I did around the light. And what this will do will create a softer glowy effect from the ring light, so it will help with reducing those harsh shadows on the face. If you want to get an even softer look, you can bounce the light onto a wall. Make sure that it's a white wall though, so it won't mess with the white balance too much. And also remember that doing this is going to lessen the intensity or the brightness of the ring light. The Rembrandt lighting, I said this first because it's the one most people talk about and it's usually the go-to in movies. But if it's looking a little bit too dramatic, which trust me, this is not the most dramatic lighting I'm going to talk about with a ring light. But if it's too dramatic for you, you can just move the light at 20 degrees instead of 45 degrees, and you'll see that little triangle start to turn into more of just a line from your nose. And this is known as loop lighting. One great benefit of loop lighting is it helps with slimming down faces that look a little bit more rounder. So you'll notice that the cheeks start to slim up a little bit more whenever you have this loop lighting effect going on. But now that will take us into our complete opposite type of lighting, which is known as split lighting, where we put our ring light just on one side of our face, whether it's the left or the right. And that's just gonna create a really dramatic line right down the middle of your face, just so it illuminates one side while leaving the other side in darkness, which is really great for any type of mystery shots that you may be shooting. While I'm on the topic of shadows, I did want to mention if you want your videos to look more cinematic, which I mean, that's why you clicked on this video, but if you want it to look more cinematic, this is something that happens time and time again in a lot of movies, commercial work. The camera is being faced towards the shadow side of the face. Obviously here on YouTube, I'm facing directly at the camera, so it doesn't really matter if this is the shadow side or not, but if it's a narrative piece like a movie or something, the side of the face that's facing the camera is going to be in shadow most of the time. Of course, rules are meant to be broken, but if you want your videos to look more cinematic, that's a big tip I can give you. The next type of cinematic shot you can get with a ring light is a rim light. Obviously, this is not a rim light, but the rim light is what I use a lot of time in my videos, where the rim or the outside, the outline of my head or my shoulders has a different type of light being cast onto it. The reason why this type of light is great is just because it pops the subject out of the background, so it kind of gives that 3D cinematic look to it. And this is really simple to do with a ring light. All you gotta do is just plop it in the back, have it facing towards your shoulder or the other side. And that reminds me, there was a surprise shot that I got testing this out that I'm gonna leave for the very last tip on this video, so stay tuned for that one. If you're filming something that's more horror, evil, mysterious, something like that, I can guarantee you 1000% you've seen this type of lighting. All it is putting the ring light pretty much as low as you can, and then just tilting it up to face up at your actor or your face. And this creates these really cool, exaggerated shadows facing up. Really is confusing to the person watching, so that's why it kind of gives that weird, eerie feel about it. And if you want to be technical about it, this is just known as uplighting. So there is uplighting, but is there downlighting, top down, overhead? Overhead lighting is the next one I wanted to talk about. And you can achieve this with a regular light stand, but there's a little bit of a caveat to doing this top down lighting. If you're using a regular light stand, this isn't the ring light, but you gotta get the idea. It just goes straight up, so it can kind of get in the way of the shot, if not just fall over from being top heavy. So that's why I opted to use a C-stand instead. And the reason I use the C-stand is just because it has an arm that goes up, booms out, goes horizontal. That way I can have the light completely overhead, top down over my head, and it wouldn't be in the frame, so nobody would be able to actually see the lighting or where it's coming from. And this one is pretty cool because it gets really, I can't really put my finger on what I'd call this. You could use it for a bunch of different cool cinematic effects, whether it's like an alien abduction, or maybe you want to look like you're in an office that has overhead lighting, but you just want one light on. It kind of gets that effect. Where it really shines is you can do an old school technique known as butterfly lighting. The reason why it's called butterfly lighting is because you get this shadow under your nose that tends to kind of resemble a butterfly. And it's the same as just having the light overhead, but you just step back a little bit so the light's shining more on your face, or at your face, and not on top of your head. So this was something that was used a lot back in the 1950s and 60s. And it was pretty much whenever they wanted lighting to not really match real world, they just wanted the actress to look more beautiful because it just kind of accents the cheekbones and makes everything look a little bit slimmer whenever you're lighting this way, almost if you're facing directly at the sun. Remember that rim lighting that I was talking about earlier? Well, if you actually move the light to where it's shining directly at the back of you, then that will be considered pretty much backlighting. And this one's really cool because it just puts you at a silhouette while allowing a halo to kind of form around your silhouette. But I will say it is more of a niche use for using this, unless if you had another light to throw in to relight your face so you can keep that beautiful halo going around. But setting up that particular shot, that's the one where I discovered this one lighting setup that I don't even know what to name it, but if you know Tron, you definitely know where I'm probably getting at, and that's where you just put the light directly behind you, and it creates a literal halo behind your head. So if you're filming like a sci-fi scene, I think this is actually really, really cool just to kind of test out with a ring light. And I don't think many people are really gonna notice that that was a ring light that you used, at least unless if they're in the industry. But I thought it was just really cool and something that you'd like to learn. But honestly, I want to learn too, so let me know in the comments if there's another type of ring light setup that you like to do that I didn't actually mention in this video. And stick around and check out this video popping up right here that the algorithm thinks you'd like to watch next. Until next time, I'm Hayden, auf Wiedersehen.